What up? What up? What up? Right, this R&T Fantasy Football talking. We back again. You
We,
know who it is. This Rodney, this Jay. What's going on, bro?
what's up?
What's going on with you?
What's up? Do you know who it is? Because you
Of
seem
course,
you got
man.
stuck a little bit
Look,
there.
it's been a long day, man. Give me
It's
give me a pass on that. It's been a
it's
long
been a
day.
long
Okay.
week.
Okay. It's cool.
I
It's
am not
cool.
without my flaws. So you good, you
Okay.
good. But the week's
All
been
right.
good. I'm back. Last week I only won one game, so that sucked. But this week I won 5 out of 9. So
Okay.
I redeemed myself, going five
Good.
and four. So hoping to keep the good times rolling. We are half point of the season. So let
Yeah.
us know how stuff is going with you. What's up, Hans? I see you out there.
What's going
Hey,
on, Hans?
much love to Dusty Bacon. We'll talk about that in a second. How'd you do with your fantasy week, brother?
Actually, I went 2-4.
Okay.
I lost some close ones, but
Yeah.
it's cool though, man. It's mid-season. I'm in a good spot with my leagues. Honestly, man, I'm sitting in some good places, so I can make a run and get in these playoffs. As long as I get in, I'm gonna do my work anyway, so it don't matter. But we got a special guest tonight.
Yes, we do.
Uh, my friend, I've been knowing him for 10 plus years, like my little brother. But he's been playing fantasy for about 2 years with us in the gridiron. So we got Kurt. I called him
What's up?
Curtis, but this is Kurt. What's going on, man?
What's up, fellas, man? Thank you for having me.
Hey, good.
Words. How you doing, man? What's going on with you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity and everything. I'm still a novice in this fantasy world. You guys in about 800 leagues. I'm only in one, so uh, I'm coming off of a 2 game losing streak, but we won. So now this week we're trying to make it a 2 game win streak. So we're doing good. We're doing good.
Hey,
Eh, good,
nothing
good.
wrong with that. What up, Will? Joining us again, Will Hayes. Hans went started season 1-3. Now he's 4-3. So that's
Wow.
that. Hey, that's what's up.
What's
Good
going on?
coming up. Good
That's
coming
good.
up. So hey, you may only be in one league, but last I checked the standings, you was doing all right in that one league. Like you said, you got to bounce back a little bit, but you were in the top spot for a sec there. So
I was, and I got knocked down. Those 2 game losing streaks did me dirty. So
yeah,
it's all good though.
yeah,
It's not
I
about how you start, about how you finish.
there you go.
Well, look, one thing I will say, he got somebody on his team. Let's go get him to the playoffs. I play him this week. He got Mahomes. So I don't. It's gonna be a tough one for me. I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm gonna win this one or not. So
if
I
he
might have to take it on the chin this week. Who
if
knows?
he
But
played
it's
like he
cool.
did last week, then
It's a
it's
wrap for me. They ain't
curtains.
got a chance.
Especially in
Uh,
that league. That's the league where it's all about quarterback points.
oh yes.
Yeah. What about
Yes.
I know we were having a producer cam problem. I don't know if we got that situated yet. I'm gonna give it a check to see how our producer did with her leagues. Nope, she's still blanked out. So
I don't know
you can
what's
just I don't know what's
I
going
don't know
on.
what's wrong with this
Yeah.
thing. When you set it up, you must have pushed the
Oh,
special button.
why we gotta put me on blast?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? My bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she
Shots
just gonna be
fired.
on blast. I mean, geez, like she gonna
And,
play, was she?
you know,
I'm
look,
sorry. I thought I said that quietly to myself.
that's why you.
No,
No,
you
Oh,
didn't.
I would shoot back, but I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be a good
oh, you
husband
can
Yeah,
today.
shoot
you know,
back
you,
It's,
you
if
gotta live
you.
in the house
and I
with
was,
her now, so
hey,
just
I
be
gotta
careful now.
survive the show.
Listen,
Yeah,
hey, listen.
be
You gotta be
careful
a
now.
You
you
can
gotta be a
shoot back
sleeper
if
night
you
now.
want
Look,
to.
look. I can get some laughs on the show, or I can sleep peacefully tonight. So I'm gonna let it ride. How was your fantasy team though? How'd you?
I
You talking
was
about mine?
two.
Oh,
No, no.
I was 2-2.
2-2. All right,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
Yeah. So for me, I did all right because recently I haven't been doing too hot.
Hey,
I had a win. Your mom up there yet? I won against his mother. My
yeah,
bad.
she
I
she beat
really
her
did not
bad.
think I was gonna win that game. I
Yeah,
promise
well,
you I didn't. But
yeah,
Lamar threw like a million touchdowns.
yeah.
Kelsey did amazing things on the field,
Didn't
and
he though?
little did I know I won. I
So,
said, "Oh, oops, who
yeah.
knew?"
So she got that W in the women's league. Speaking of the women's fantasy football league, welcome Nita to the show. Hola. She is actually not just in the women's fantasy league, but if I mentioned the comedy club league, Uptown Comedy Club. If you're in Atlanta, check it out. She took over. We have two divisions in that one. She took over the top spot in the division from me. I started that league hot with my that was my 0 running back league. I couldn't lose, and now I can't win. So much like you talked about, Kurt. I started off hot, then I hit I think I lost the last 2 or 3 games in a row. It's going poorly. It's going poorly. But we'll see. Welcome Keisha to the show as well. Coming from that women's fantasy football league. Let us know how everybody's doing with your leagues in the chat if you don't mind. I hope everything's going well. We're at the half point, so hopefully everyone can do good in the second half and make the playoffs. We want to jump into some news stories.
Yeah, let's talk about the news of the day.
The biggest news story.
Biggest news of the day is Brock Purdy. All of a sudden, after the 2 bad games, he has the concussion.
Quotation marks. Don't forget the quotation
marks. Yeah, concussion. So we gonna talk about that. He got a concussion now. I seen the play. Is it concussion? We don't know. Is it bad play? We don't know. But all of a sudden, from Monday, he got a concussion.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully all is well with his brain, whatever, But at the end of the day,
we wish.
Do you really care?
We sending good thoughts.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. That was me.
Our producer just fired shots at everybody today.
I'm sorry.
No, do I really care? Probably not.
Probably not. But we wish him well.
Yeah, I don't want his brain to be messed up. I want him to be okay, but he needs to go to the bench. That's just my thing. So it is what it is. So, but I think it's kind of faking somewhere. I think we lost Kurt. He's froze.
No,
he's in. He is.
I'm letting you get your story out before I chime in.
Yeah, but it is frozen a little bit.
I think he's frozen a little bit though.
But the audio's there.
The audio's there. But the thing is, he had some bad interceptions in the end that looked really bad. He threw it straight to the cornerback. So can we blame it on the concussion? Maybe. Was it bad, just a bad pass? It could be that too. So we don't know. But at the end of the day, I think it's a little strange. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to leave it at that. I leave it to y'all to answer the question. How do y'all feel about this whole situation with the concussion thing?
Yo, guess first.
I mean, y'all did play Monday night, so you got to think about it like that. It's not like y'all played Sunday. So I know you're looking at the extra day, like why Wednesday is this a story? But you got to think you did play Monday. So, like you said, I seen the play. It looked like he did have significant kind of trauma to the head. Now, I mean, whether or not that's enough to be concussed, that's for none of us to say because we weren't out there. But, I mean, I wouldn't say it's fishy. I will say that in this league, teams they tend to play a little bit of head games. They will say, hey, so-and-so's in concussion protocol. Their status for playing this weekend is up in the air. And then all of a sudden they'll miraculously play. So I'm not going to rule out the fact that they might be playing a little bit of head games with the Bengals. But Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. He's in a great system. His stats speak for himself. He's just in a 2-game skid where he's not playing like how they normally play. I don't think he needs to go to the bench as Mr. Rodney. I don't think he needs to go to the bench. But I mean, I think it's a situation where this is what we wanted to see from Brock Purdy. We wanted to see, okay, when the defense is not playing as well as it played, when you don't have Deebo Samuel, when Chris McCaffrey is injured, when you don't have all those things at your disposal, how can you deal with adversity? And I mean, yeah, you would expect for him to respond after the Browns game, but I mean, hey, the Vikings are no slouch. They do have a formidable defense. Brian Flores is a really, really good defensive coordinator, so he's not a slouch by any means necessary. So I think it's just a team where you ran into the Vikings and they were ready to play. And I mean, I think it's just one of those things. And it's football. It's NFL. Any given Sunday, or in this case, it's Monday. So
I take that.
Yeah.
What you think, man? What you think, Jay?
Give the man a break, man. Come on, man.
Give him. I say this. the suggestion that Brock Purdy should go to the bench might be a sad tad bit rooted in the fact that my man has a $50 bet on the success of Brock Purdy going on.
Don't do
So
me like
he might
that.
he might have a little
Don't
bit of
put
selfish motive.
Hey, you can't put my business out there. I did call
Little-
it on the show.
It's a
just
little.
bit.
Well, hey, everybody that watches RJ knows that you are not a Brock Purdy guy. But to Kurt's point, the real deal is these last two times that we've seen the 49ers, he ain't looked good. They've had defenses that I think are catching on to how to defend against the 49ers. So he's going to have to step it up because the rest of the season, it gets real interesting, let's say, for the 49ers. So we're going to see him bounce back. But in the chat, I see we got Keisha is 5-2 in second place in the league. Angelo, welcome. Good to have you here. Will Hayes is 4-3. Lost 2 in a row. I know the feeling. I hope it gets better. But we got some haters in there. Hans, I feel you on Jahmyr Gibbs. I had Jahmyr Gibbs in one of my leagues. But as those that watch the show know, I got a lot of David Montgomery, and I'm going to need you to keep those bad thoughts away. I need Montgomery back as soon as possible. Hey, there's enough for both guys to succeed. So hey, we don't gotta push my man Monty out the show quite yet. I need him to keep doing what he do, the way he do what he do. Yeah, but Gibbs stepped up, and so you kind of got a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs fantasy people were in an uproar that they would draft someone that high and not use him and use Monty instead, but. We saw what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. That's the future, obviously. So we'll see. But hopefully both guys doing it. Welcome, Catherine Bracey, to the show. Women's Fantasy League coming in full force. Glad to have you there with us. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the Brock Purdy news. Since I'm going to jump away from fantasy football and football for a second, just to acknowledge the fact that Dusty Baker, one of the all-time greats, announced that he was retiring. The Houston Astros came close to getting to the World Series one more time before he retired. But, you know, it was cool in his interview. He talked about he had, like, hunting dogs that don't even recognize him because he ain't been home really since February. So he's going to be able to spend time with his dogs, his grandkids, the rest of his family. So shout out to Dusty Baker. One heck of a career in baseball. So.
Well, yeah, he had a good career coaching. So I
Yeah.
definitely shout out to Dusty. I remember him when he coached Barry Bonds and with those Giants. So he deserves it, definitely.
Oh yeah, he's one of the greats. What else we got?
I want to shout out Richard Roundtree, man.
Another
Richard Roundtree.
Shaft.
Shaft,
Shut your
baby.
mouth.
If you know about Richard, you know about Richard Roundtree. I didn't know he was that old though.
Yeah.
He was pretty old, man.
Yeah, when I first saw, I knew he was up there, but I thought he was like high 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I want to shout out Richard Roundtree, and also I want to talk about Deshaun Watson for a few minutes.
Okay.
I want to get y'all take on Deshaun Watson, and is this injury that he got, is it long term or is it something that they said is in a baseball term is a 4 to 6 week injury?
Yeah.
Is he done for? Do you think he need to sit out the rest of the season to just heal it right, or does he come back in the next 3 weeks and play ball? What do you think?
Well, I didn't know it was me.
No, go ahead.
It's one of those things, man, because like I said, when you talk injury, you want to try to say, okay, it could be this, it could be that, but only the person who's injured really knows. I mean, I feel like he should be able to come back, and everyone is critiquing his work. Everyone's critiquing his game, saying he's not looking like the same Deshaun Watson from Houston. He's not looking like how this same guy that we used to seeing. But you got to understand, he sat out for a whole year. I don't care if you were on that field, on the practice field every day, practicing, throwing passes. Nothing gets you in football shape other than playing football. You got to play actually in games, and I knew this year would be like one of those years where he needs to kind of get back in the rhythm and kind of get back in the game. He needs to, you understand, the game changes every year, so you have to adapt to the game. You know, running quarterbacks there are that's what this time is in the NFL. So as much as there you have your running quarterbacks like your Jalen Hurts or your Lamar Jackson, there are also defenses out there that are made to stop them now. So you have to be able to adapt and adjust to the game. And he's coming off a lot. And at the same time, you got a fully guaranteed contract. I mean,
That's true.
you're fully guaranteed. I mean, are you really going? Are you really incentivized to go out there and risk anything when you know your contract is ironclad and fully guaranteed? I mean, let's just be honest here. I mean, if you
That is a good point. Lord.
you know that you can sit on the bench and that check still gonna hit the bank. I mean, am I gonna really rush back? I mean, I don't think that's fair for the fans and for the team. But I
Yeah.
mean, you got to call it what it is. I mean, hey, if he might not, if he feels maybe 80% to play, and I mean, he might not want to go out there and play. I mean, and like I said, the check's still going to be in the mail or be in the bank. And hey, what we talking about? So, I mean, you would want to make sure you're fully healthy before you go back out there to play. But I'm gonna just be honest with you, I don't feel like he's going to rush, especially with him not playing as well as he's playing. Um, PJ Walker is doing a good job to me. I mean, it seems like he's holding down the fort. So I mean, it might be a situation, but like I said, you pay all that money. Why I'm gonna pay all this money for you guys on the bench? So, like I said, it's just one of those things.
This one, Kurt, can you do me a favor? Log out and try calling right back in. We're gonna see if we can get you unfrozen, so people can not only hear your great comments but see you moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, call right back in.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I'm just gonna say on Deshaun Watson, I think it's obvious proof that Rodney is indeed a fantasy quarterback jinx because
That is not true. You
I
got
mean,
to stop
all,
doing that.
I'm just calling them like I see them. you have a man hitting 4,500 yards, and I hope he can. I hope he can play enough games to get 2,000, because you know what I mean you put the kibosh on him before he could even get started.
I didn't put the
You
kibosh
kinda
on
put-
him,
you
man.
kibosh
Yeah,
is-
you kind of did. Sorry, I got to second that. Not,
a little
not
kibosh.
because
Come on.
of
Y'all
my
gotta stop
relationship
treating
with
like
the
that.
dude
I don't
Yeah.
do quarterbacks
over
like that.
there. All right then. All right.
A little kiboshed, but it's okay. You can't help it. You try to call it the best you know how, and you know I mean it wasn't as far as bold predictions go. It wasn't a bad one because they were going to need a lot of, especially once we didn't know it at the time, but once Nick Chubb went down, you know it seemed like it was going to be on and popping, but you know it's hard to get past that jinx. But you know you do your thing. Uh, yo, speaking of players not living up to their expectations, we talked about Deshaun not playing the way people thought Deshaun could play. I'm looking in the chat at Hans talking about Calvin Ridley. For a second, we were talking about maybe this 1A, 1B with Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk. And since that comment was made, has he caught a catch since then? It's like he has fallen off the planet. So if you managed to trade Ridley before he just fell into the dumps, good for you. Because I don't know what's happening with that dude. Can't have Deshaun Watson on the team. Is also what I'm saying. Welcome.
I mean that's crazy though, because I thought he was gonna really. Now is it Russ though? You know that's doing that.
Hey, we got Curtis back and moving.
Back.
Good night. Yeah,
I mean, but is that Russ though?
Similar to Deshaun Watson, he had a whole year when he wasn't playing. So Calvin Ridley definitely, I think, has a rust factor. But geez, it's crazy because it started off like, oh, this is gonna be on and popping, and it just like obliterated into nothing. So, in fact, Hans said he got Mixon. Mixon's a late starter, so I wouldn't. I'd still like that as we go into the rest of the year. Not this week. I wouldn't recommend Mixon this week. I mean, if you got him, you got to play him. But yeah.
You know what? I don't know about that, because I say this. Yes, our defense, the Vikings ran the ball okay
Yeah,
against us.
Madison did a good job for him.
They they didn't the Vikings didn't run the ball down the 49ers throat. It was more so Kirk Cousins back there wheeling
Yeah.
and dealing. And
Yeah.
that's really what it was. It was more so the pass defense is what kind of got taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And you gotta watch Kirk Cousins because he will have those games where he
Yeah.
will
Kirk can cook. Exactly.
and then the next week he go flat. He throws 4 interceptions and then you fall flat. So you got to watch Kirk. He's one of those up and down quarterbacks, and he just happened to be up on that particular game. But they didn't really run it down their throat. So I mean, 49ers have one of the best run defenses in the league. So I mean, like you said, I wouldn't recommend starting Mixon for this week. I have him on my league, and I'm gonna start him because I don't have a better.
If you got him, you got to play him, but you got to temper your expectations, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I just need him just to be solid.
Yeah.
And we'll be all right. We'll let Mahomes carry us.
Yeah.
You have no problem with that.
Yeah, Nita commenting that injury for Deshaun was worse than initially reported. But I don't understand what you're saying. She watches Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show every day. Why would you force yourself to watch every day?
Get yourself to that.
You dedicated. I tell you that much because no, not Cleveland. Not Cleveland. Welcome Brian Blast to the show. Another your brothers in here. Let's see. Would you pick up Donaldson with the news coming out? I guess is that supposed to be Sam Darnold maybe or
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
Okay. By the way,
no.
Do we have a call-in number? Should people call your phone?
No, he was saying, it's not because we got to get. No, if you want to come on, you can come on. Just let us know.
Okay.
Everybody's welcome, man. Everybody's welcome to come on, man. It's just don't be afraid. It's okay. It's open season, baby. Come on. No, me personally, would I pick up Donald? No, I wouldn't. I'm not. To me, Donald is now in that offense. We don't know what you're getting from Donald because that offense is so quarterback friendly, obviously. No. But Donald also makes bad decisions when it comes to interceptions and things of that nature. So, and he been cold, so he's coming in hot. So we don't know. I wouldn't do it. Now, if he go out there and play well, then by all means I was wrong. But we know what Donald has done in the last 5 years. Yeah. We know what Donald is. So no, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Desperate moves of a desperate person. If you got to pick him up, things ain't going well in fantasy world. I'd say that much.
And just to kind of add to what Rodney is saying, like you said, you got Donald coming in cold. Brock Purdy, yes, you had McCaffrey in the backfield, but he still was always accurate with his throws. So you still had to worry about him throwing down the field. You still had to worry about him hitting the targets. And he, like I said, in that system, he does well with hitting his targets. So with, like Ronnie says, you got to deal with Sam Darnold with the interceptions. You got to deal with him being cold. So he's going to have to rely on McCaffrey a lot more. And if the defense realize they realize you're going to rely on McCaffrey like that, they're going to key in and stop him and force you to throw the ball. And then that's when you're going to have a problem. So I wouldn't pick up Sam Darnold. I'll leave him where he is.
Similar to how Minnesota made them start throwing to made Purdy start throwing the ball more in the second half because they say, if you're going to just go to Christian McCaffrey, all right, we got something for that. And so we've been seeing enough.
You getting game film on that. I think a lot of teams are going to pick up on that, definitely with them throwing straight to the McCaffrey because if I'm not mistaken, I think the receivers probably got maybe 8 receptions total Monday night. So you threw a lot out of the backfield to McCaffrey. So you kind of got exposed a little bit, and a lot of teams picked up on that. So definitely that's something. But I wouldn't pick up Sam Darnold at all. Not me. No.
Only in the deepest of leagues with the most desperate. So I see Anita talk, but she also watches Philly. I can understand watching Philly sports. But Cleveland ain't had a good run since LeBron.
Yeah,
that's the only sport where maybe. But good. Hey, if you like the show, watch the show. I'm not a hater. Another comment coming in. Speaking of fantasy football and craziness, but did any of y'all start Bijan Robinson this week?
No, I was about to ask you that. What is going on with Bijan? Now the
He,
league is looking to that, looking
yeah,
into the situation, like they not putting him on the injury list, and he's really hurt. Something, what's going on? Me personally, I don't know, man. I just think I think something's going on, and they just not telling you.
they say he was sick, and I was like, okay, but he wasn't on the report, so yeah, that's why the NFL's looking into it. But I say one thing: if you had Tyler Algier and you started him like somebody in this room did, yo, Algier put in some work.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so yeah, but if you started Bajan, yeah, it had. I feel for you. Now, what's crazy is the Bajan one was a surprise. He was sitting there waiting. I was telling Rodney I did the dumbest of dumbest things. DK Metcalf. I was waiting to find out whether he was playing, and for some crazy reason, I got swept into the Commanders Giants game, and I forgot to go back to check my roster. So I left DK Metcalf in my starting lineup. But the good news is I still managed to somehow win. So everybody else, I guess there was next man up on my fantasy squad. So I still won that game despite my own foolishness. But lesson, never watch the Commanders because apparently I
We
don't even
only
know.
watch it because we live in this DMV
I mean,
area.
you're only saying that because you're a Cowboys fan, and that's
Yeah.
probably
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yes.
you know you watch the Commanders sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to see him lose. That's all.
Yeah, so, I guess Brian's coming to my rescue, saying it's easy to get swept up with the Commanders, but he's a Washington fan too, so I can't take it.
He said, easy now, easy.
Oh, is that
He's on the Commanders now.
My condolences.
He's on the Commanders now.
Good.
That's all I got news.
No, there's one more news story. Not NFL, but yesterday we saw the start of NBA season.
Yeah.
How swept up are we in NBA Madness, or is that just we gonna leave that to the side to football season?
It's too early. It's too early for that. You gotta see your basketball at least to around Christmas time to get invested in it. So
Yeah,
it's too early for that right now.
I typically start to really, really lock in as it starts to get a little bit closer to All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
That's usually when I start to lock in. I mean, like you said, at this time, October, November-ish, it's still early. Everybody's they're not really locking in. It's an 82-game season. Come on now. They're not really locking in like that.
I feel you. Yeah. I'm looking at these. There's a lot of Commanders jokes coming out.
Yeah.
I ain't mad. But so NBA, I'm with y'all. I don't really pay a lot of attention. I just found it a little interesting in as much as the plan for LeBron is apparently just to give him like 28 minutes, roughly a game, so they can do the load management. Yeah. I'm like, hey, if they go with that for the whole season, I don't even know what they rested him for, unless they rested him for when Bronny comes into the league later, because they ain't been in the playoffs with that kind of schedule for LeBron.
Yeah, because AD is looking like, I don't know what's wrong with AD. He 0 points in the second half last night.
He's being him.
That's unacceptable.
He's the most non-reliable, if you will, superstar in the NBA. So who knows?
I mean, he get paid $62 million this year, by the way,
to sit down on the side. Yeah. So coming the Falcons taking heat for the migraine issue, and like I said, I don't think it would draw any heat if they just said so before the game time when you're supposed to put in their report. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets better. So much like we said, we don't want any harm on anybody. So hopefully those migraines can be serious. If you remember, Percy Harvin from the Hampton Roads, he had those migraines all the time that kind of cut his career, I think, a little short. So that can be a serious issue. But the main topic for tonight, we're at the midpoint of the season. We're going to hand out some awards. But before we do, did you want to do any weekly awards, or you want to just go straight to mid-season?
Let's do some weekly awards.
Let's do some top players. All right, what you got for us?
We're gonna start at quarterback, obviously. Some guy named Patrick Mahomes. He
killed the game.
Dang.
32 or 42 for 44, 24, 4 touchdowns. We ain't even gonna think about an interception because it really don't. It didn't happen. It was just there.
Nah,
Um,
you gotta own up to that
I want it
interception
for.
because that mess counts later. Call that interception what it was. He messed up.
He messed up, but you know.
no, we're gonna ignore that interception. He threw
No, we don't
434
ignore
yards.
interceptions.
But
No,
if
no,
you end up
no.
throwing for over 400, we can forgive one
We
interception.
can forgive that
We can
interception.
forgive
You
it.
We can
forgive it,
him
but
on
you
that
still
one.
need to say he did it.
Kirk Cousins, Monday night, 35 and 45, 378, 2 touchdowns. And Lamar Jackson, man. Lamar Jackson don't get enough credit for what he does.
Yo, Lamar was crazy this week.
Lamar was crazy yesterday, man. And I lost to somebody that had
Yeah.
Lamar. And I was like, what is going on? He was 21 to 27, 357, 3 touchdowns, and he did it on the ground. So he did work. Definitely. Gardner Minshew. He was 15 to 23 for 305 in the losing cause,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. And Derek Carr, 33 of 35. I'm sorry, 33 of 55, 301 yards, a touchdown. The only problem with Derek Carr is he does not throw enough touchdowns.
He doesn't
He threw
throw
the ball
touchdowns, period.
55 times.
Now, in his somewhat defense, he threw a nice touchdown to Foster Moreau, hit him in the hands, and he dropped it. But as a general rule, from someone who's watched Derek Carr his whole career, he's just like kryptonite. Once you get in the red zone, he cannot find the end zone, and that's just been a historical problem for him.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I don't understand it because to throw the ball 55 times, which I'm glad they allow him to throw the ball because at the end of the day, that whole thing with Taysom Hill coming in, stealing snaps and all that stuff is whack to me. Just you paying that man 20 something $million a year to be the quarterback. Let him be the quarterback, man. Like at the end of the day, you pulling him for a running play to get 3 yards when you can just hand it to the running back. To me, that don't make sense. So at the end of the day,
Never does, but
it don't make sense. And I ain't really got many running backs this week, but Kenneth Walker III, he was the only one that cracked the 100-yard mark. So he had 105 yards on 26 carries. But the position that really we want to talk about tonight really is the receivers. But this guy here, I don't know if it's, I don't want to say this because I don't want to upset somebody in the back of the room, So we're going to leave it for last before she say something. Puka, 8 receptions, 154 in the touchdown. A.J. Brown, 10 receptions, 137 in the touchdown. Josh Palmer, big game.
Yeah.
He had 5 receptions, 133. Josh Downs, 5 receptions, 125 in the touchdown. Now I want to talk about Kelsey, and I want to ask Sydney this question. Sydney, don't scream at me on this one. I'm just asking the question now.
Here we go.
Is it because of Taylor Swift that he's playing so well? Because they had a stat there.
You saw that, yeah.
I seen the stat. They said that when Taylor Swift is there, I think he averages what? Is it 100 yards a game?
Yeah,
80
it's 99.
Yards
Yeah,
99 something yards a game, and then when she's not there, he averages about 35 or 40 or something like that. So
right.
I'm trying to figure out what is it, Sydney?
I don't know if she's giving you the face or whether the camera's frozen. I think because either she's giving you the evil eye. I think it's frozen.
No, it's not an evil eye.
I'm asking.
No,
the question.
I think it just got stuck.
I know he's asking the question, and I can't answer it the way I want to. Why he's doing so well? You could draw your own conclusions with that, and that's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Okay. I'm good with
He's
that.
a man, she's a woman. Draw your own conclusions why he's doing well. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Apparently, when that switch scenes, we lose Kurt again because he froze again. And Sydney was maybe a third person is just freezing, no matter who they are. Kurt, try to call back again. Sorry, so we can see what's going on. But yeah, it's kind of funny that stat.
To answer your aunt, no, he wasn't trash before her. It's just sometimes he got a little extra pep in his step, we'll say, and maybe that's what's doing it. Or, you know what it could be? Let's take her out and say he wants another ring. He wants a third one on his hand. That could be a reason too. Hello, people don't think about the ring, do we? Nah, it gotta be the woman. So I gave the obvious answer.
I just asked the question because they put a stat out there. That's all. I'm just asking the question.
No, because everybody wants it to be the woman. It could be he might want to be blinged out with another ring. Ain't nobody said nothing about that, did they? No, it's got to be Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yo, come on, people. Let's be real.
Hey, listen. Coming from a man's perspective, if we got an interest at the game, we're gonna make sure we show out. Let's just keep it.
Thank you.
100% now.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yo, Anita, no, we can't go on Saturday because she is taking over football to a ridiculous level.
I'm gonna be like my boy Grunk. We want football.
Yeah,
people.
We're
football. Sick of this. We want to watch football. We don't want to watch her and Mahomes' wife do their little tired little handshake in the booth. Don't nobody care.
They cut to that drinking so many times.
Oh my gosh! I'm like, seriously?
There is a football game going on.
This is like the lamest thing, and this is on TV. Are y'all for real right now? This makes me ashamed for being from my city because it tells you we a Midwest city that don't have. I'm trying to curve my mouth. Nothing to do. So we get a celebrity that comes to the city. Oh my gosh, we gotta be Swifties. Man, I tell you.
What you gotta understand is
it's such a color thing
and their bottom line is that dollar, and they already make billions on billions.
I know,
Now you get the Swifties who don't even know football.
Yes, so you got little girls who don't know nothing about football now want to watch it because Taylor Swift is at the game.
Yo, I'm gonna go ahead with my bold prediction for next year. If they're still dating, don't be surprised when she gets the halftime show for the Super Bowl. They would.
And you know what?
They would do it this year, but they already announced it.
You say that if they hadn't already given it to Usher, she would have got it.
She would have it this year, but they already gave it away.
Yeah, and I kid you not, like right before they gave it to Usher, that's when they started showing Taylor Swift, and I kid you not, I was almost sure they was gonna take it from Usher and be like, "Yo, Taylor, take the Super Bowl from." I just knew they was gonna take it from.
You know
Usher.
how to have the flex.
Waiting.
You know how to have the flex schedule for games at the end. They might want to flex the halftime show. Like, hold on.
Oh, I bet you money they gonna incorporate her in that halftime show. I bet money on that.
I know, right?
Her butt gonna be up there in some outfit singing with Usher. Her and Usher don't have nothing in common when it comes to music, but her butt gonna be up there, floating down from the sky. Some crap.
There will be a Taylor Swift segment in there.
Oh yeah, she gonna be singing with Usher. She don't sing with no Usher. She probably don't even know no Usher song. Come on, please.
All right, let's
move on to football.
Let's jump back into some football. We got a question
from. I asked that question. I was just reading the stats, but I'm sorry.
But this is what I'm saying. This is almost like the Mahomes Tyreek Hill thing. Y'all act like these men didn't play before this stuff. They played before.
So back to football.
Thank you.
Hansi has a question. We talked earlier about Lamar Jackson and how he went crazy on Detroit. Sorry for all those Detroit fans, but is Lamar the best mobile quarterback since Michael Vick, or who do y'all have as the best guy?
It's got to be Lamar.
I can't think of another name. Justin Fields says he is, but you know.
Listen. I love Cam Newton. Cam Newton was one. I mean, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. But if you're talking about ability and just from the throwing and running aspect, and to do it if not the same as Michael Vick, but a little bit better, you got to give Lamar Jackson. It's absolutely. There's no other running quarterback since him that has been this productive and this amazing. I mean, he's flying under the radar. I mean, everybody's talking Mahomes. Everybody's talking, Jalen Hurts. Everybody's talking everybody else. No one's really talking about the Ravens like that. And, I mean, Lamar's only setback is health. If he can stay healthy, he's a top 3, maybe top 2 quarterback in the league, and he just got to stay healthy. That's all he has to do. Yeah. And, I mean, I would love to be able to see him get to the Super Bowl and win one, just because there has never been a dual threat quarterback to win the Super Bowl. So I would love to see him be able to be the first like that. So yeah.
So we hope he can keep it going. But like you said, that health is always the issue. And not only his health, but the health of the rest of it. The Ravens, like we say, are always second to the 49ers in the number of hurt
Oh yes.
players every year. So hopefully they can keep their stuff together. Because I say one thing about that division, that AFC North is going to be real interesting. Because there's not
Yeah.
really a bad team. Cleveland might be the worst, but with that defense, they can beat anybody, and they showed it
Oh yeah.
when they played the 49ers.
I can't even really say the Cleveland because I mean the
Yeah.
Cleveland, like you said, their defense is top two. You got Nick Chubb back there. You got. I mean, like I said, if Deshaun Watson, it's just really the question is at quarterback.
How
I mean,
good can he be?
Yeah, you got Amari Cooper out there. You got a certified stud at receiver. I mean, it's like I said, you can answer the question at quarterback. If Deshaun can get himself back together, then they'll be dangerous. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh has. I really don't know what to say about Kenny Pickett. I mean, I try to like him, and it's just. I just don't understand. And I mean, I like George Pickens. Pickens
Pickens for real.
Pickens is something to deal with. So
Oh yeah.
like I said, that's a real good division. I mean, I don't like you said, I don't really see any real bad teams.
No,
You know,
there isn't.
So let me ask you, can you get 4 teams coming out of that division, or at least 3 coming out of that division this year in the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think two. I think
Yeah.
two, and you will be Cincinnati and Baltimore. I mean, the AFC is good. I mean, they're actually that's really where all the talent is at. If you look at the NFC, there's not that really. There's only really 3 or maybe 4 good teams. The rest good teams are all in the AFC. So I don't see more than 2 coming out of that division. When you got the AFC,
The AFC is just too tough.
you got the AFC East with the Bills and the Dolphins. You got the AFC. Well, you got Mahomes running the AFC West. So you can't say that. I mean, it's really going to be tough at the end of the year to have 3 come out of that division or 4.
Yeah,
I was thinking more with a 7 seed, would it be a 7 seed?
They might be able to squeeze a third one in, maybe, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
You're going to really be counting on the other divisions really kind of having only maybe 1 or 2 coming out of there. That's really
the AFC South would do their part to make sure.
Absolutely.
You can depend on them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is, to me, by far the worst division, I think, in the league right now. I want to say, AFC South. Yeah.
They're going to try. They're going to try to squeeze somebody else, so we'll see. Hans asked a question, because I was actually going to say when you I know you have like 100-yard threshold to mention running backs, but he mentioned a running back that I was going to say you left out the list that you really should give some love to, but I'm not going to say it yet because I know we're going to start our awards show soon. And hold on, Hans, because the guy you mentioned is 100% getting an award from me. So we'll see where that goes. And then I circle back to this question. Any other performers you wanted to say, or you want to get to business?
Let's get to business.
All right. Well, y'all know that the whole point this week, since we've reached the half point of the season, is we want to shout out guys who really did stuff for our fantasy teams this first half of the season, and who we think might continue to be contributors. So we did several categories. So we'll go one by one, and of course, because the audience is what makes the show great and pop. So if you have people you want to suggest for awards, please throw them in the chat. We'll try to keep all those. And if you have fantasy football questions, we're still doing week 8 questions. If you have lineup issues, let us know those as well. Or trade issues, since we got I don't know if we mentioned the trade deadline coming up.
No, we did.
Anyway, so trade deadline's coming up. So if you have questions like that, let us know. So Rod, you want to get us started with the first of our awards?
So we got the offensive player of the year, midway quarterback. But I have 2.
Yeah, I've got more than one for some of these.
I have
at least
2.
Want to suggest. Yeah.
I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes / Lamar Jackson as my quarterbacks midway through. Patrick just being Patrick, obviously. Patrick doing his thing. But like Kurt said, Lamar is flying under the radar. Nobody really is talking about Lamar, but Lamar is leading his team to victories. Not fantasy worthy. I mean, he'll have a game or two that's fantasy
Last week
worthy.
was definitely
Yeah,
fantasy worthy.
but
Yeah.
I'm saying but he'll have games where it's modest, 250,
Yeah.
275. He might get you 75, 80 yards on the ground. But most nowadays people want to talk fantasy numbers, 300 yards passing, things of that nature. But I think from a offensive quarterback standpoint, Patrick Mahomes / Lamar Jackson for me, as my offensive guys, quarterback wise.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have really much. The guy you just named, he's carrying my team on his back, and I can't thank him enough. But like you said, it's Patrick Mahomes, man. I mean, you're talking 551 fantasy points on the year, with 144 of that just coming from last week with that blowout win against the Chargers. I mean, I was looking at my percentage against my opponent, and it went from 50%. It went from 50% up to 89% just off of him. So I mean, yeah, he's just him. He's just what he is. And I mean, 15 TDs and 6 interceptions. He's just being him, and he's just in that upper echelon. So it's hard to not give him that kind of award. So
Yeah. Pat can get it every year, mid-season, full season, no matter what. So I have him on one of my dynasty teams as well, and I have him and Travis Kelce stacked. And boy, did they put in some work this past week. But I actually had a different name at the top of my list. This is the Mahomes, who's been great. Allen been really good for fantasy football purposes, despite the fact that the Bills have kind of been up and down.
Yeah.
His fantasy numbers are really good. And I'm surprised, Rodney, you didn't say your boy Tua, who's having a record-setting year as far as yards. And, of course, Kirk Cousins, who we talked about earlier. But the guy I'm giving my love to is a Philadelphia Eagle, Jalen Hurts, who right now has 1,821 passing yards, 274 rushing yards, 9 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns. He's getting it done. He's not the dual threat guy you think of like Lamar, but you got to respect his ability to run, but he's a much better passer than Lamar Jackson is at this point in his career. And I think with that Philly offense, hey, just off the tush push alone, these guys are getting it done. Hey, if you're in a league that gets points for first downs, like one of the ones I'm in, hey, that tush push, I love it every time I see it. I hope the NFL does not outlaw it.
They are. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. And there's nothing more demoralizing than knowing something's coming.
And you can't stop it.
Stop it. It's crazy. And then nothing more demoralizing than watching your team try it and can't
do it. That's the play where Brock Purdy got his concussion, trying to do that quarterback sneak. And
you know what's funny? And that might be the reason why they outlaw it.
You're right.
Right there. Just because
player safety.
They love to lean on player safety, but it is just the Eagles got an unfair advantage because and I did some digging and I did some extensive film watching on that tush push. And if you look at the close up on those tush push, it's more it's really Kelce.
Kelce makes it, yes.
Kelce up front at the point of attack with everything with Hurts right behind him. That is the reason why that play is so successful. I mean, they win at the line of scrimmage every single time. So, good. Enjoy it this year because it will be gone next year.
I know that's right. We got a question coming in. Not a quarterback question, but a defense question. Jacksonville or Atlanta? Which one of those defenses would you guys start next week? I'll say I've been riding with Jacksonville a lot and I'm going to mention them again later in this show. But this week, I might be tempted to go Atlanta because the Titans are a mess offensively. And so I think that might be which way I go. What about you guys?
I'm going Atlanta because Will Levis is starting. Yeah. And I'm not a big Will Levis fan. I think Will Levis is not that good of a quarterback. So I think they can get off on him this week, honestly.
The man puts mayonnaise in his coffee. That's all you need to know about Will Levis.
That's just nasty. So we're going to leave it at that. I'm going Atlanta over there. I mean, you can't really discount Jacksonville, but I mean, for the easier advantage, I would go Atlanta. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you guys with it as well. I would go Atlanta. Tennessee is they're not announcing it, but they're in the rebuild.
Yeah.
They're giving away all their players. For some reason, they haven't came off Derrick Henry. But
That's what I'm waiting for that trade to get announced.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're asking for the farm for him or what.
Right.
But they're in a small rebuild, and I wouldn't put it past them to try to get into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. But they're in a rebuild, so definitely you would want to start Atlanta this week.
Yeah.
Good.
No, what I'm saying is they are in a rebuild. I did hear some rumblings last week that they have Hopkins and think both of them are on the market. Hopkins on the market too. They trying to get rid of both of them.
Yeah, they're in a rebuild.
I can see Hopkins being traded just because he probably want to be on a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry, I think the thing is, where would Henry go? That's Buffalo, obviously, but Buffalo don't really want to pay nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know where he would go at where he can get those 25, 30 carries. Because Tennessee the only team that do that.
Atlanta, but they already stacked with running back. So
yeah. I don't know.
Maybe because he's an awful person for running backs. Maybe Bill Belichick and the Patriots don't have enough people to confuse folks with how he uses his running backs. But they're a team that needs to run the ball a lot.
I mean, to be honest with you, him going to the Patriots would be a lateral move. Going from the Titans to the Patriots, that's a lateral move.
Bad offense.
You don't got a good quarterback. The offense, you don't have nothing. So and what was the book on Tennessee? You know what that freight train in the backfield was.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do? I'm gonna stack the box, and that's the same thing they would do if he was to go to New England. He would have to go to a team that has a good quarterback with good wideouts, to where the defense has to pick and choose. You can't throw that 8-man in the box and try to stop Derrick Henry. You got to respect that pass game. And, I mean, I'm looking. I don't really know what team could really use his services like that. I mean, I would love to have him in Dallas.
I was about to say that.
Listen,
don't put that even on Tony Pollard. I need that man.
Let me tell you, our run game was at its best with Zeke doing all the power and letting Pollard come in and be that flash. And since Zeke has been gone, our running game has suffered a lot. Tony Pollard's he's not as big as Zeke was.
That's not his style. Yeah.
That's not his style of running. And you need someone to pound the defense down to where they don't want to take them hits in the third and fourth quarter. And they're going to play soft. And that's where Tony can kind of come in, slip past you, and hit his head on the goalpost. And, I mean, but Jerry ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it.
I hope not.
Jerry ain't going to do it.
He won't do it.
Yo, speaking of trades, Hans wants to see the Colts trade Zach Moss. Another name that I definitely want to bring up later in the show. We got to see. I've got Zach Moss, and I need to know what's going on with that situation, because with Jonathan Taylor back, you just know that's where they're gonna start putting those rushes and all the carries towards him. So I wouldn't be mad if that happened either. Needed giving some love to a non-quarterback, so that'll throw us into our next award. We're gonna have the quarterback awards. We did non-quarterback MVPs. She mentions guys like Myles Garrett and Jalen Carter, the rookie on that Philly defense. That's also on my dynasty team, by the way, who's doing some work. Who do y'all got for your non-quarterback top players?
You go ahead, Kurt.
I got Tyreek Hill. I know they coming off of a bad loss against Philly, but I mean he's at, where is he at? He's at 902 receiving yards, and it's only week 8.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna shatter records when it's all said and done. And
do you think he hits that 2,000?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
As long as he stay healthy, and that offense plays like he should, they keep Tua upright, he's gonna hit that. And I don't see a reason why he shouldn't. I mean, he's doing numbers, man, and he's another one on my fantasy team that carrying us on his back, and I appreciate him every moment of the
Yes,
way.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man, definitely Tyreek Hill. Definitely that, man.
Yeah,
Rod?
I got Tyreek Hill too. I just think to me if you had to do a redraft today,
Mm-hmm.
sorry JJ, but I'm going Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, why not? I mean,
I'm going
I
Tyreek
was
Hill
going
one.
Justin Jefferson, but he's hurt. So yeah, if you go back,
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill all
I'm
the way.
going. I'm
And
talking about
honestly, if he wasn't
both
hurt,
healthy.
it's still Tyreek Hill. He's
Both
killing it.
healthy. I'm going Tyreek Hill.
You can't teach speed, man.
No.
You can teach.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's God-given talent, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
talking about the guy that ran at Olympic speed. I mean, you can't teach that. So no, absolutely, he would
Yeah.
definitely go over Justin Jefferson. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about the tush push. It's sad when you know it's coming, but you can't stop it. With
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, it's the same. They're back their safeties off. Like, okay, just play so and so feet away, and it doesn't matter. It's like he's still faster than you. He makes one move, and you just it's like no matter, even if you know it, you can't stop it. So what are you gonna do? But I will say, they did not look good in this last game, and that's the one bad thing about the Miami offense. It's predictably bad against the top defenses, and that's why I think they're limited as to how far they can go. Like, I don't think Miami's going to be lifting up the Lombardi Trophy just because when they have to play those top defenses, like we saw with Buffalo and we saw with Philly. You know, you can that speed to kill, but you can't rely on it all the time.
And to add to that, they don't have the defense to be able to carry them if the
Exactly.
offense is not producing. So
Exactly.
it's almost a situation where you have to score or you're going to lose. It's not like with San Francisco. San Francisco, nine times out of 10, the offense can take a day off and the defense will carry them for the most part. It's not like
It
that
always
with
does.
Miami. It's not like that with Miami. Miami has to be able to keep pace with the scoring to keep their defense out of harm's way. So
Yeah, we might start another feud, but who do y'all got with this upcoming game over in Germany when Tyreek gets to go against his former Chiefs team?
listen, I got the Chiefs, man, and mainly because number one, we'll get this out of the way. Patrick Mahomes is him, but the Chiefs defense is a lot better than the Diamond defense. And like I just said about the defense with the Dolphins defense, I don't see them stopping Mahomes. There's no way. And Mahomes and Kelsey together, no. Like I say, it's gonna be a nice high scoring game, but I see the Chiefs prevailing at the end of that.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs winning that one too. Miami gonna keep it close, but the defense gonna get that one or two stops that you need, and they gonna stop them. So, and the Chiefs defense on the low actually is really good. To be honest with you, they're playing really good at this moment.
Yeah,
So you can't really take nothing away from the defense because they playing just as well as the offense. So, I definitely give you that.
Yeah.
Now they is taking that hit with Nick Bolton being out for them weeks with the wrist, but I mean, because he's a really nice linebacker. I really didn't pay attention to him until the Super Bowl, but he's a really good linebacker.
Yeah. They got some talented players there.
That is a blow there, but
I'm really looking forward to when that game happens because that's gonna be a real test there. I'm with y'all for non-quarterback guys. I had Tyreek Hill, but also surprised he didn't at least mention your guy CMC. I think if it's not Tyreek Hill, CMC is the only other name I can think of that probably would get offensive player to this point. He's 598 yards. Rushing at 228. He has 8 and 3 for his pass. Rushing and receiving touchdowns. So he's Mr. Everything, which is crazy because on y'all, and I've said this before, the 49ers probably have one of the most stacked teams offensively and defensively. The fact that CMC commands that much of the offense when you have a Debo Samuels and a George Kittle and a Brandon Ayuk and even go to Elijah Mitchell, there's talent everywhere on that roster.
He's more valuable.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's more valuable to me. If you had to put a value on who's more valuable to their team, CMC is more valuable to us and not taking nothing away from Tyreek, but you still have other weapons in Miami they're really fast, they're really good. But CMC makes everything go Whereas the Tyreek, he's a really huge part of that offense.
Yeah.
But CMC, if you take him away, it's just it breaks down to nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I dig
that's
it.
why I said. That's why I said. I mean, I get what you're saying, but Tyreek is just amazing.
He's having a crazy. We thought
Yeah.
the Cooper Cup season was good. Tyreek
Yeah.
Hill is killing the game right now. So,
Yeah, he gonna
do y'all think he's the fastest guy on the team? I guess
Yes.
Jalen Waddle or
Absolutely.
I would love to see that.
A-Chain.
Yes.
That would be a fun race just to see all the Miami guys line up. Because that's we said it before. That's a track team. That's not even a football team.
Yeah.
So
Go back to your thing. You got your CMC point. What makes CMC what he is the fact that he's a dual threat running back. So he's essentially another receiver as well. So it's not that he's just killing you guys in the run game, but you don't know if he's going for a swing pass out and can take that for 30, 40 yards. You don't know, or like I said, that offensive line with running behind Trent Williams and the rest of the crew. I mean, they're opening holes and he's just blasting right through them. So like I said, being able to attack their defense in different ways is what makes CMC that lethal. I remember when you had guys like Alvin Kamara and CMC when he was with the Panthers. They was one of the guys that really kind of like was starting that whole dual threat. Let's go ahead and pass the running back type of thing. And I mean, like I said, CMC does it at such a high level. And this he like 17 straight games with a TD.
Yep.
Or something like that. Man, it's amazing, man.
Yeah. Have y'all watched CMC's dad Ed play? I didn't know. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I seen a little bit of it and I heard, and he was just as good as well. So yeah, man, that runs in that family, that pedigree.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hans also breaking news. Apparently, Cabernet is going to be the man. Oh no, it looks like Cabernet is hurt too. So that's KW3 time, as if it wasn't already. So I dig it. All right, so we did our offensive players. Let's hit some rookies. Rookie quarterbacks. Who y'all? Is there a name other than C.J. Stroud?
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
It's not. C.J. Stroud. And the thing is, I was telling somebody, CJ, if he keeps up this pace, and I asked him the question, is C.J. Stroud a top 10 quarterback next year in fantasy? If he keeps up this pace going where he's going there. Because C.J. Stroud can end up with 4,200 yards this year, 30 touchdowns. Is he in that top 10? And who does he knock out of that top 10?
Man. You're talking top 10 quarterbacks. Who would he knock out? I mean, I guess it would just depends on who you say is a top 10 quarterback. Because everybody has their different list of top 10 quarterbacks. Some guys, I believe if we all ask each other who's our top 10, we will probably have our first five maybe our 5 or 6 would be the same. But
the order might be a little switch, but we probably, but the bottom part.
I think he could be that 11 edging into 10. How I judge quarterbacks is what they do with what they have. They don't have nothing in Houston. He has nothing. And it's like for him to have the Texans at 3-3 is already saying something anyway.
Yeah.
So for him to be doing what he's doing with what he has, imagine if he gets a good receiver. Oh my goodness, or a great running back. I mean, absolutely.
I say this year, I thought Dameon Pierce was going to go off because they're going to run the ball at least 20 to 30 times a game just because, they don't, like you said, they don't have wide receivers. Tank Dale's probably their best wide receiver. He's a rookie himself. But, C.J. Stroud has been the truth. I was like, wow, he's been phenomenal. So I think he could definitely be in that top, maybe not solidified, but I think he's definitely in that top 10 discussion. Towards the back end next year. I wouldn't be surprised. Not the way he's playing right now as a rookie, because a lot of people were downing, he's not going to be able to process the information and blah, 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 blah. He skipped out on the Manning training camp. They were coming up with all sorts of reasons why C.J. Stroud wasn't going to be successful, and all he's done is prove all the doubters wrong. He is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So since there's no other rookie quarterbacks to discuss, non-quarterback rookies. Who's putting in work this first half of the season?
I got Puka.
Yeah. Yep.
I got Puka.
You
Puka
must,
came out of nowhere.
you must be looking at my
Nowhere.
man.
I got Puka, 6th-round pick,
Uh-huh.
5th-round pick. Now I was a little hesitant when Cooper Cup came back
Right.
to say that Puka was
You
gonna
said
lose some of
sell
that
high.
steam,
Right.
but no, I think Puka serious, man.
Yo,
Nah,
I
yeah.
thought that B. John Robinson had the rookie of the year wrapped
No,
up,
no.
but yo, Puka, like you said, from out of nowhere, Puka has just been killing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
It's I was thinking B John too,
yeah,
and it's just hard though when you have to kind of rely on the running back. You have to
yeah.
rely on him. The quarterback doesn't scare you. The receivers don't scare you. Nothing else
Mm-hmm.
scares you but him. And you make yourself one dimensional,
Yeah,
and the defense is able to key in on that. And I mean, like you were saying about Puka Rodney with Cooper Cup coming back, you thought that you would see him kind of drop down, but
Yeah.
just like
uh-oh.
Yeah, I gotta take this I gotta take this call. I got a call from work.
Oh, do your thing. We lost Curtis for a while, so do you, and then are you gonna hit back or?
Yeah, I just gotta
All
start
right.
work.
So I just finished this thought while you doing that. So the thing about it, like I said, Bijan I thought was gonna be the guy because he was all the talk and he was people had Bijan as their top 10 draft picks coming in,
yeah,
right? And then all of a sudden, Puka, no one was suggesting you draft it, and I think that's why he wins this midseason award, just because nobody saw it coming, and the fact that he's doing what he's doing when his team needed the most, because
yeah,
we know Cooper Cup was out at the beginning
yeah,
of the year, so for real,
yeah,
people were like, okay, there's gonna be nothing that they're gonna be able to do. People like Van Jefferson is gonna be the top guy. And no, it was Puka the whole time. And as a person who had drafted Matthew Stafford, I'm very grateful for Puka because he's basically kept that team afloat. So, yeah.
yeah. I had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that,
Yeah, you good?
but like I was saying about the whole Cooper Cup thing coming back, just like I said about Deshaun Watson, Cooper Cup hasn't played all season. He just came back. He's got to get in the rhythm. He's got to get those reps under his belt. Like you said, like I said before, the only way you can get a football shape is playing football,
That's
actual
true.
NFL football. So I didn't expect much out of Cooper Cup this game, and I really don't expect him much
Yeah.
out of next game. And I actually hope he don't have a good game this game because he played my Cowboys. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, but no, definitely Puka definitely is one to keep an eye on. I mean, you talking about four games with 100+ receiving yards. Come on now. I mean, you got to keep an eye on a guy like that. So no, definitely that he has to get that award.
Yeah, I think it's an easy decision to make. Nita, going back to the quarterback discussion, said mentioned Bryce Young. Bryce, the problem with the Panthers is they had a wholesale last year where they really literally got rid of all of their talent,
Yeah,
partially to bring in Bryce Young, and now he has no one to play with. So yeah, I'm not saying it's over for Bryce Young. It's just his first year, but yeah, he's not in the quarterback discussion because he doesn't have a team. So. It sucks to be him. Did you have to go away for a second, Kurt? Maybe so. All right. So for the moment, I'm just here with me. So we'll try to hold it down for a second. The next award we had, and we appreciate you guys in the chat putting in your suggestions for these as well. The next award we had was actually going to go. We were talking defense. I saw like Nita put in some defensive players on her list earlier. We were talking about stream because a lot of times people like me stream defenses, and so and I see Nita. I'm not Nita. I'm
You
Mount
said the
Catherine
wrong
talking about
person there.
the Cowboy fan. Yeah, so you have somebody with because you're usually the only Cowboy fan on the show.
oh
So
man, that's very
so
unfortunate. We got to bring some more blue and silver in
So
here.
so we got Kurt. You coming in being backup. So I had someone to bond with over the
Hey,
Cowboys. So
need that. I need that. Yes, sir.
let me ask you for this next award. How do you do? Do you try to draft a defense out, or do you go week to week streaming guy? Team defenses.
I drafted defense in the beginning. I normally keep them. In this particular draft this year, I drafted the Cowboys defense as the no surprise. So they've been doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
And doing phenomenal. I only had to add another defense when they had the bye week this past week, and that's when I used the Jets defense. No, actually, I'm sorry. I had the Jets defense as well as a backup, but they was on the bye week as well, so I wind up using Tampa Bay's defense, which is still a solid defense.
That's a solid one.
But yeah, I like to stay consistent with my defense. A team that I know that has a consistently good defense throughout the season, I like to stay with them. So I typically just draft one and just stay with them unless they have a bye week or something like that. But definitely was the Cowboys defense for me. I need them to just keep coming to the party and keep showing up. So
the only time they really let me down was when y'all played the 49ers, because I was like that was the week I was like, okay, that was the week I thought we were gonna really get the first Brock Purdy test, and I'm just gonna chalk that up to won't ready, and we'll see what happens next time.
Ready. I don't. Like I said, I like the Vikings, but I don't really. As far as I really feel like the 49ers wasn't ready for the Vikings. I think they slightly overlooked them. I think they looked across the ball and was like, "That's Kirk Cousins, and we can just take a day off." I'm really interested in seeing them play Philly.
That's gonna be a real championship.
That's gonna tell, because you got guys from the 49ers side that say, "Oh man, our quarterback was hurt. That's why you won." Then you got the guys from Philly side saying, "Well, we knocked your quarterback out. That's why we won." So we get a chance to see if last year's NFC Championship game was a fluke or that was real, or was real. So
yeah, but my bold prediction is it's real, and I think it's gonna be nasty. So I'm looking forward to that one. All right, so going with streaming defenses, I don't generally draft a defense. Every once in a while I will. So I've really been picking up week to week. And you mentioned one of my streaming teams as the Jets. I actually picked them up this week because they're playing against. As nice as Tyrod Taylor has been, that offense I think ain't gonna be ready for the Jets this week. So that's one of the ones I picked up, and I've used them a few times this year. We actually mentioned another streaming defense that I've used a lot this year, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs, because people didn't really have high expectations, but they're kind of highly rostered now, but they didn't start off the season. I think they were outside the top 12 of predicted fantasy football defense. So that's another one I picked up. And lastly, I said I would come back to this team, Jacksonville. I've used Jacksonville more than a few weeks. I wouldn't go with them this week only because I still have somewhat high expectations for the Steelers. And so we had that question earlier about whether you go Jacksonville or the Falcons. That's why I said this week I probably wouldn't go with Jacksonville, but overall, I actually have them still on my bench for one of my rosters because a lot of times it doesn't make sense to have two defenses rostered, but some teams it works. And so on one of those teams, I have the Jets still in my back pocket. So I'm gonna roll with them, and I will probably pick up the Chiefs a few more times if they're available, but they're not as easy to get as they were at the beginning of the year.
I think with the Chiefs defense, that why they fly under the radar is I think because a lot of people get caught up in the offense, they get caught up in the Mahomes, they get caught up in the Kelsey, and they really forget that defense is a top 15 and maybe not 10 top 10 defense. They're a defense to be reckoned with. And if you want to be real, that defense is the reason why they won a Super Bowl. Nick Bolton
100%.
Nick Bolton ran back to scoop and score off Jalen Hurts in the end zone. That's a defensive play. So the defense is what really be showing up. So like I said, I think people kind of like gloss over the defense a little bit because it's Mahomes, it's Chiefs. They're not really like they're not a 49er style defense where you got Chris Jones, but who else really you got that you're really looking at on the Chiefs? That's a name.
Right.
Since Honey Badgers. Honey Badgers.
Right.
So, yeah. But no, Chiefs definitely. Absolutely.
Right. Glad you could get back with us. We moved to defenses. Talking about streaming versus drafting, guys. What's your defense strategy for fantasy football, and what defenses do you think deserve some special recognition?
So with me, I value defense and kickers very lightly. So I stream kickers and
Yeah,
defense like weekly against the opponent. But my most surprising defense so far is really under radar Seattle has
that's
performed
not a bad one either.
has performed really. I ain't gonna say like lights out, but they've been
Mm-hmm.
consistent every week
They're
to where
solid.
they hold teams under a certain amount of points, and they do a good job of winning games. So I would say Seattle, and I kind of just go week to week with defenses,
Yeah.
unless you got somebody that's like a top notch defense that you hold on to. But
Mhm.
I normally go week to week, to be honest with you. I go based on matchups.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me. So that's definitely what I do. So
Now here's the craziest. It doesn't deserve an award, but one of the top streaming options I saw last week was people picking up the Raiders for their defense
yeah,
because of the fact they were playing Chicago, and Chicago has one of the worst offenses. But to
yeah.
me, when you stream, here's a little warning: don't stream a bad defense just because they're playing against a bad off. Like the Raiders, I wanted to go with a bullhorn and tell everybody that was doing it and suggesting it. Don't pick up the Raiders as your defense. They're terrible at it, and they I don't want to talk about it because they lost to a Division II quarterback, and it was just hard. The Raiders are not a real football team at this point. Let's move on. I don't even know why I brought it up. Move on.
It's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay.
No, it's not. It's not going to be okay. I've reached that point where it's just not going to be okay until Josh McDaniels is gone. So,
Man. Yeah.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
true.
who's your most surprising producer for this first half of the season?
Ooh, I like this one.
And welcome Orlando Lewis to the show. I was going to watch Aladdin, so she came back in enough time to see us. She liked the Buffalo Bills defense, one of the top drafted ones. So yeah,
I'm
but
gonna,
surprise performers in fantasy football. Who you
I'm gonna
got?
say Adam Thielen.
Ah.
I'm
Okay.
surprised. Yeah,
Alan Thielen.
I thought he
Right.
was washed up, but he definitely has. Is he the only fantasy person in Carolina?
I'm gonna give you some numbers.
Yeah.
Uh, so week one wasn't the best for him,
No.
but he kind of got going week two. Seven receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Then he went for 11 receptions, 145 and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
7 receptions, 76 and a touch. And then he had 11 receptions apiece, over 100 yards and a touchdown a game over the last two games. So in fantasy right now, he has 141 points in fantasy right now.
Yeah.
This is a guy that was supposed to be washed up, according to people. But I think for me, Thielen has been the most surprising, coming from the fact that he's playing with a rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, that type of thing. I'm sorry, not C.J. but not C.J. Stroud.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young playing with a rookie quarterback. So I think for me, it's Thielen. That's the surprising pick for me. I think he's really surprising, and I got him in my lineup. He's not never coming out of my lineup because he's putting numbers up every week. So for me,
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
I would say mine. I would say Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, he's talking 29 receptions, 400 yards, 6 TDs. Justin Jefferson, that's his team. So you expect him to get the big numbers. You expect him to get all of the glitz and glam. Obviously, he's been hurt. He's nursing that hamstring. So, like you said, next man up. But not all the time guys step up to that plate. Some guys crumble under that pressure where, hey, the star receiver's hurt. I got to step up and be the man. And I mean, he's stepping up to the plate. He's doing his thing. 112 fantasy points. I mean, he's definitely doing his thing. He's becoming a really, really great number two option for that offense. And I mean, he can make that team very scary when you get Justin Jefferson back and him on this upward trend that he's on. Yeah, Vikings offense might be up to something. So yeah, I'll say Jordan Addison.
I like that one. And if you have one of the things about Jordan Addison, I thought going into his years was a great probably I thought was the best of the wide receivers, but I say he's probably in the worst of the positions.
Yeah.
Maybe him and JSN, because JSN you got DK and you got Tyler Lockett, who are known legends. And
Yep.
quite frankly, the way Kurt throws to Justin Jefferson, I was like, I don't know if there's going to be enough passes. But yo,
Yeah.
he's made it
Exactly.
work as the number 2, and right now with Justin out, yo, he's gonna eat. So
Yeah.
I like that one.
That's
I went a different direction. My surprising, I want to give these guys some surprise there because they might not have it in the second half of the season, and that's Zach Moss and Kyren Williams
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, because
yeah.
in both of those cases they weren't supposed to really be the guy. Zach Moss was just a holdover until Jonathan Taylor came in. But Zach Moss, hey, he's on one of my fantasy teams, and I actually benched him 1 week early, where he just went bonkers on my bench, and I could have won a game. So I put him back. He has had some decent numbers since then. But I'm going back to a question that was asked earlier. I'm hoping Zach Moss gets traded somewhere, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to try to just keep rolling with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And the thing about Kyren Williams, people were, and it wasn't a lot of hype, but people were saying this is going to be the year Cam Akers really makes a step forward. And he's not even there on the team anymore. And Kyren Williams has been doing it. Both of those guys, Zach Moss with 523, the Russian 115. Receiving 4 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. Kyren Williams 456 and 105, and he has 7 combined touchdowns. So both of those guys are really putting in some good work, and those are guys that I'm pretty sure nobody drafted, but you picked up off waiver wires, and they might be the reason you win a championship. Even if they don't do the same in the second half of the season, they put your team in playoff position in that first half of the season. So shout out to both of those guys. There's a lot of hatred apparently over here for the Bills defense.
Bills defense.
That I don't like the Bills. They're good enough when needed. I think their real big problems for Buffalo hasn't really been the defense. I think is keeping Josh Allen consistent. Now, fantasy wise, he's been great, but he's had some real stinkers against teams you wouldn't really think he would.
Well, they've lost a lot of guys.
They lost some guys
injury wise.
Uh-huh.
But I think the biggest problem for Buffalo is they don't have a second receiver.
Yeah.
They don't have a second receiver. James Cook.
You don't believe in Gabe Davis?
No, I don't believe in Gabe Davis. And the thing is, they trying to pump up Gabe Davis to be that number 2 receiver, and Gabe Davis is too inconsistent.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's Mike Williams part 2.
Oh my gosh, yes he is, man. Who you telling? And the thing is, they won't see. I feel like they should have went out and got Hopkins to play on the other side for me, because I think that's what they need. Now, and they also need a running back because I like James Cook, but James Cook is not your typical in between the tackles running back. He's your running back that he's a third down, catch out the backfield type of special running back that you can put in the slot to play against the linebacker.
Yeah.
That's the running back he is. You need a bruiser, but the thing is, Josh Allen is a running back, and they continue to use him as that, which is the issue. He's going to always do great individually, but when it comes to a team aspect, they don't have that at running back. They need to get a running back. And they
had Zach Moss, and he sat on the bench and was just lost. So is it they don't have a guy, or they don't know how to use a guy?
Well, I don't think they want to.
Yeah.
I think they believe Josh Allen is that in their mind, he's the guy that's going to run the most for them. They don't want somebody that's just going to be there and, you know what, we're going to give him the ball 20, 25 times a game. They don't want that. That's why I was like, Derrick Henry, somebody like a Derrick Henry going there would be perfect in a sense if they were to run the ball 25 times. But they're not. They're going to give it to Josh Allen 8 of that 25 times.
Right.
So for that 1 yard, it just don't make sense to me.
Makes no sense at all. And like you were saying about the inconsistencies, if you're going to be opposite of Stephon Diggs and you're going to be getting number 2 coverage, you're getting the number 2 corner, you're getting all of the number 2 stuff. So you can't be inconsistent at that position. Because I mean, you got Diggs getting all the number 1. He's getting all the attention.
He's getting all this right.
Exactly. So they rely on your number 2 to be productive. You can't be up and down. and expect to have success like that. It's not gonna work like that. So yeah, definitely they definitely need a second receiver, like you said,
Yeah.
and a good run game.
Yeah.
And stop running Josh Allen. Like I mean, you was I mean, had the league learned nothing from Cam Newton, having him, all them quarterback design runs and having him run like that? Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big quarterback that can take hits. But one thing that cut Cam Newton's career short is he all them
Yeah.
hits caught up to him. They caught up to him, man. And no, that's not how you do it. Have him run unless it's absolutely have to. When he absolutely have to run, that's when you run him, not on 1st and 10. Do not have him run. No.
I think his natural talent can get in the way because he's so big, just like Cam Newton. You think, oh, well, you can do this with him and it'll be all right. A similarly big guy you might think of Ben Roethlisberger was huge, but he was so unathletic. It was like they didn't
run.
Not even a little bit. So it's like, yo, you gotta. It's nice when you have it, and going back, not as big, but I think that's why Lamar Jackson has some of the injury problems, because running hurts. Trey Lance, Roddy, your guy, the coach just thought you could just run him up the middle, and it's just, hey, your quarterback is there to throw the ball. So get a solid running game, and like the only run when you need to, like when he was good, Russell Wilson would do, or like Patrick Mahomes does now. They run as a last option when everything else breaks down, but it's not. It can't be your number one.
Yeah. Well, I've also seen Josh Allen run and not actually take a hit, but give a hit, and I think that's part of the problem too, because he feel like he's big enough to give a hit. That it's okay to do it. Mm-mm. And at the end of the day, that's not what you want to do as the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And like you was saying about Lamar Jackson, it works for Lamar Jackson because not only can he run, but he's fast though, and he's agile. So you mix it. Josh Allen's not agile. He's not juking nobody and nothing like that. It just he got a little bit of speed and he got power with it, so he can go heads up with a linebacker or a safety or whatnot. But I mean, that's not good for you in the long run. Absolutely not.
Speaking of running back, we got questions about. We mentioned Derrick Henry earlier in the show, and we would mention some places we think he might be good to get traded if he does. I don't see why they wouldn't trade him at this point, because like you said earlier, they're in a rebuild, and so it's time they need to have a fire sale. And hopefully he gets somewhere good, like hopefully not your Dallas Cowboys, but somewhere where he's gonna.
I don't
want to see that one.
I think that honestly, now that I was thinking Dallas, I ain't want to say it, but I'm thinking like honestly, if you really think about
the
Dallas,
perfect spot.
It probably is the perfect spot for him.
Which is why I don't want to see it happen. Because that would be a really good landing spot.
I want to see it.
I'm not even lying. That would be beautiful.
It would. I mean, because you got to be able to keep the defense on their toes. And no one wants to stand in front of that freight train down after down after down and watch him run at you guys. Nobody wants to deal with that. And then when you got Pollard coming right behind him, that flash, that 1-2 punch, I mean, it's ideal. But my owner's going to get in the way like he always do.
It ain't even.
Here's the crazy thing about it, though. For all his problems, Derrick Henry goes there, and Dak Prescott is by far the best quarterback he's ever had. In his career.
Absolutely.
So just imagine when you have to respect the passing game. You've got Tony Pollard with the Lightning. You got Derrick Henry as the Jerry Jones. Don't let it happen. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying. But what you're not talking about is their O-line is humongous.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're gonna open up so many lanes for they open it up for Pollard, but just imagine Derrick Henry running through those lanes.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about it, but I think in a perfect world, I think that's the perfect landing spot for him, because I think he will get those carries, not 20, 30, not the 25 to 30, but he'll get that 18, the 18 to 20 carries, just probably to get those 10 to 12 carries that he normally get. He'll eat on those 10 to 12 carries like he did last year. So I think it's a perfect spot going there, but it probably would never happen.
They
won't. Who knows? We'll know.
Hey, look, a man can only hope, right? But I mean, think about it like this. I mean, like I was going back to about our previous run game. Our previous run game was successful with Zeke and Pollard. It was a 1-2 punch. In Tennessee, it was Derrick Henry, and that was it. You was not afraid of the backup running back. You was not afraid of him. So it's one of those things where if you can get to a team where you have a backup running back that is nice and fast and shifty, you have a power running back in Derrick Henry, you're going to be scared of that run game. That run game is going to be lethal. And like you said, Rodney, with the offensive line opening holes up, like you said, I mean, it's a match made in heaven. But like you said, it won't work. It won't happen. It ain't going to happen. So I won't get my hopes up.
Oh, God. I know. Yeah, I'm going to combine these next two questions into one because it's the same thing. We got Dalvin Cook and D-Hop. Sightings. The problem with Dalvin Cook is he's hit that running back number where he's just he wasn't good his last year in Minnesota for real, and being there he's just not an option because he's just not. And D-Hop, he made the mistake of aligning himself with Ryan Tannehill. I don't know why he decided to go play with Ryan Tannehill.
It was the money. It was the money. He took the money because he told everybody he was trying to when he was leaving. Where he come from?
Arizona.
When he was leaving Arizona, he said he wanted to go to a contender, and you went to the Titans, and it was nothing but a money grab. That's all he had to say was he wanted money. So yeah.
Can you imagine if he had decided to go somewhere where they had a quarterback like I don't know Kansas City who needs a wide receiver? Yo, he would have gotten the money, but he might have got another ring. He would have got a ring. Yeah, so I don't even understand that one. We got two more of these categories. I'm actually going to skip the next one, come back to it, because we got a question from Hans, and I told I was going to come back to this player. So let's go to our bye-week hero, somebody that filled in admirably once or twice during your bye weeks, and maybe someone people can look for again. Who y'all got?
I just say the Tampa Bay defense. All my guys haven't, my actual good guys, they haven't hit a bye week yet, so I haven't had to go through that. But Dallas was on a bye week this past week, so I had to sit their defense, and Tampa Bay came in, and they filled the shoes. So definitely hats off to Tampa Bay's defense.
What about, have you had any injury guys you had to fill in for? Or your team just been going so well?
Well, I did have one injury I had to fill in, and it was going to be a part of that category that you skipped. So I'm gonna
okay. Well, we'll save it for that. What about you, Rod?
I'm gonna say 1 week Sam Howell came in.
That's a good one.
And did numbers. He saved me 1 week where I was struggling at quarterback, and y'all know how that league work over there. So you got to have somebody playing. So he came in and did some numbers for me. So I can appreciate Sam Howell, even though, they lost. But I can care less about that.
Who cares?
They put up numbers, though.
Yo, he throwing that rock. So
he kept throwing it around. So I was like, woo, I need those 114 points. So I take the 114. So I'm good with it. Sam Howell saved me a few times.
Absolutely.
I'm going to surprise you with one of my bye week fill-in, and actually he's become my regular, Baker Mayfield.
Oh, God.
You might remember during the draft, this was in a barbershop draft, somebody said, what I put up, did I want, because I went Patrick Mahomes first, and what I've been doing with this barbershop league the last 2 years, by the way, I'm the defending champion, is in that league, in that league, much like the gridiron, is really mostly quarterbacks the first two rounds because of the two quarterback league with a butt ton of points. So what I've been doing the last few years is, in fact, I did it in the gridiron, so you know what I'm about to say. I go with my quarterback first, and then in the second and third picks, I'm going with skill players, and then waiting a long time to come back with my other second quarterback, right? And so someone asked me, am I going to go Baker Mayfield? And I said boldly, Baker Mayfield would never be on one of my fantasy football teams. Guess what? Baker Mayfield is on one of my fantasy football teams. I needed him for a bye, and I needed him to sub for a horrible Mac Jones. It's
Oh my gosh.
for that one, I was like, well, Baker, welcome to the team, and he's been putting up some decent numbers for me. At the very least, better than Mac Jones ever did. And so
Yeah.
that's one. But the other one, and this one was a really good bye week fill in last week. This is why I wanted to say this Deontay Foreman question. Um, Deontay Foreman, when if you've been watching RJ Fantasy Football Talk for the years that we've been on, what is my slogan every time somebody plays the Raiders? I
Start that
say
running back.
start their running back. The Raiders
Right.
cannot stop the run. It's physically impossible for them. They're just allergic to it. Well, just last week, guess who played against the Raiders? Deontay Foreman. Do you want to know what Deontay Foreman did against the Raiders? He killed them. 89 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. He went receiving for 31 yards and another touchdown. That's 3 touchdowns against a running back. Deontay Foreman, if you put him, if you've listened to the show long enough to hear me say, because Deontay Foreman was definitely on waiver wires. If you've listened long enough to hear me say, play a running back against the Raiders, and you put in Deontay Foreman, I know you won last week. You had to have won last week because Deontay Foreman is that dude. The question I have for you guys, which is why I boosted it up, is where do y'all see this going with the rest of the year with that Chicago Bears backfield? Because Khalil Herbert's been out, Rashawn Johnson's been hurt, Deontay Foreman was a monster, but it was the Raiders, so keep it in perspective.
Well, look, I'll say this.
What do y'all think about that backfield?
Now, honestly, it should be a two-part question. I'm
Okay.
gonna add on to that question.
Go for it.
Khalil Herbert, I think, comes back, and I think it's more of a split between the two. I think Johnson, he had his chance
Yeah.
to kind of show what he could do. He played well in between, but he didn't really show enough. I think Foreman and Herbert is probably gonna split. But that ain't even the question I want y'all to answer. The question is, if that undrafted rookie quarterback wins this week, and Justin Fields is out another week and he continues to win, who's the quarterback?
You gotta ride the high hand, baby. You gotta ride the high hand.
Hold on, wait a minute.
You gotta ride the high hand.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay then.
Hey, you got to listen, man. We in the business to win games. All right, we're not here. We're not here. We're not here to help feelings, and we're not here to baby. We're in this game to win games. The coach job is to put the best players on the field that give you the best chance to win. If he wins, hey, I'm gonna say, hey, Justin, take your time. Take your time.
Yo, look, that dislocated thumb, that ain't nothing to play with.
Hey, look, you need your thumbs, man.
You might never be able to grip a beer again, so you might want to sit down. You might want to sit down. But
absolutely, man.
I can't see. Once again, it's the Raiders. the Raiders aren't a real team. Okay, that's the first thing about this situation. I'm happy for this dude. I don't even remember his name, Tadgett or something that starts with a T. He's a Division II guy, and he's got a story to tell his grandkids about how he came in and beat the Raiders when no one expected him to do well. But just keep in mind that Josh McDaniels is the guy who lost to Baker Mayfield when my man only had the playbook for 48 hours last year.
Shake and bake, baby.
I mean, honestly,
the Raiders
really
are a disaster.
Do you think
I don't think there's a chance in the world they bench Justin Fields. But I will say this. I don't know for certain whether Justin Fields becomes the long-term solution in Chicago like many people thought he was. Because there's already rumors with their ability to possibly have the first 2 draft picks. They're not going to pass on Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams might not come out. but they are in such the dumps, they might actually give in to his demands and make him a partial. They might make him the full owner of the Bears if he comes out because they've never had. They name the best Bears quarterback.
First of all,
there's a team that's going to give him ownership, or at least partial ownership. I think the Bears or the Browns, who's equally dumb, might be the only 2 teams that would do it.
Right.
But I don't really think for me, I could be wrong, but I don't think they bench Justin Fields.
Here's the thing. The reason why, I'm gonna cut you off because I know where you about to go, and the reason why I'm throwing that out there that you ride the hot hand and he could be benched is because they didn't pay him yet. They didn't pay him. If he had got that, if he had got a big contract from Chicago, then I say absolutely not. When he's ready to come back, you put him back in there. But he hasn't been paid yet, and the jury's still out on him. Yeah. You got the man in there calling out the coaching staff and the press conference. It's a lot going on up there in Chicago. So
they're a mess of a franchise.
Yeah.
You can't rule that out with them doing that. Like I said, being that he has not got a contract, and they could, like you said, it could potentially have the either number 1 or number 2 pick. But like you said, that's if Caleb Williams decides to come out, he might go back. He might go back to school. He might go back for another year. But I mean, like I said, it's not out of the realm of possibility that could happen. I mean. Hey.
Well, here's what is out of the realm of possibility. The Bears are not going to beat the Chargers next week. I don't like the Chargers coach that much either, but there's no possible way that the Chargers lose that game to the Bears. I'm going to say that definitively right now.
I mean, they don't beat them with Justin Fields either. So I'm just saying, I'm just asking the question. If he goes out and plays well, and they see, because it's a similar situation that happened in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That not saying he's gonna be Brock Purdy-ish, but what I'm saying is if he plays well enough, they make a decision to say, you know what, we've seen enough of this, and we'd rather move forward with that. That could be a case. It shouldn't play out that way, but like Curtis said, they did not. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option yet, and that's part of the problem that's probably for Fields at this point, because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option to say, we're going to give you this $22 million with this 5th-year option. They're saying it's more of a wait-and-see approach to the end of the year. Now, I hope that doesn't open up the door for this backup for the scoop in and take the job. But, I mean, we don't know. We'll see. So
Tyson Badgett, that's his name, by the way. And he's not the answer. He's not. I don't think he becomes a starter just because he's for all the we talk about the Brock Purdy Cinderella story everybody got caught up in. This one is just as bad. The guy didn't even play that well. Let's be real. Look, he played well enough for them to win, but again, it was the Raiders. So let's not look too far into this win. The guy's a backup, and he can be a good backup, but he's a backup. He's not a franchise quarterback.
Okay. Going back to San Francisco, though, you can't really compare those two, and the reason why I say it is because you saw Trey Lance. Kyle Shanahan was at practice with Trey Lance. He's seen him practice, and there's just something in Trey Lance that just didn't work for them. And they saw Brock Purdy back there. And like I said, you got to understand, these guys are in practice. They're throwing. They're competing. The QB2 is competing against QB1, trying to become QB1. So, like I said, there's something in Trey Lance, whether it's his decision-making or his athleticism or his accuracy, there's something there that they didn't see that will work for them, but they saw in Brock Purdy. Here with your man's here and Justin Fields, I don't foresee him taking Justin Fields' job. Justin Fields, he's too good of a runner. He provides you that dual threat kind of a type of quarterback, which is what the league is going to. So he provides you that kind of an option. So he's worth kind of still seeing with this year, what he can do with this year. But like I said, hey, take your time on that dislocated toe. You might have to sit down for a little bit, but it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah. So, but just to rewind back to the backfield question, I'm with you, Rodney. I think it's a split. I don't. They have 3 decent, but none of them great running backs, and I think that just is that's a backfield by committee.
Yep.
You know, by definition. So
when you're featuring running backs like that, tells everybody that you don't have a number 1 running back. And if you don't, then I mean that's all you need to know right there. You don't have a running back worth committing to if you're featuring them by committee. So
So,
Just go perform. That's it.
all right. So let's all get ready to roll with our last category. Who is the most disappointing fantasy player you have from your rosters this year? I know who mine is, but I'm gonna let you guys go.
Go
T.
ahead, Rodney.
Higgins.
I know my Go ahead.
T. Higgins.
Yeah,
T.
that's a good one.
Higgins. And the thing is, I'm mad at T. Higgins because T. Higgins is playing for a contract.
Yeah,
My thing is, if you feel like you was gonna come in and play this bad, you should have sat out and got paid. At least you had some type of guarantees
right.
behind all of this bad play and this bad juju that you putting out there. Because right now, and it could be a lot. It could be on Joe Barrow not being healthy.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of things in that nature. But again, you still got to play your part. And obviously, you had one good game out of 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Something ain't right there. And you trying to get $25 million,
Not the
and
way he playing. You right.
not the way you playing. I mean, because a lot of people were saying you was 1A, 1B to Jamar Chase. Now, a lot of people looking at your side eye saying, okay, is he really 1B? Because if we give him a contract to come play here and he's number one, what is he going to do? Because he's getting the same reps in Cincinnati as a number one would get on any other team, because that's how they look at those guys in Cincinnati, 1A, 1B.
Yep.
I don't know, man. He not earning that $25 million, man. So
it's hard for number two wideouts to really get their money because you're playing under a number one, and other teams are watching you, and you have to be perfect because, like you said, if am I going to bring you here and pay you to be my number one, and you can't even perform that well as a 1B? One of the best, well, two of the best wide receiver cores I've seen so far is the Dolphins and the Eagles. I believe Devontae Smith can be a number one somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's a good 1B to AJ Brown. So is Jalen Waddle, and I believe Jalen Waddle was the number one before Tyreek Hill got there. So I mean, you have to almost be perfect as a wide receiver too to get your money and get that respect. So yeah, I definitely understand. Mine is Pat Frymuth with the Steelers. Oh my goodness gracious! Here, I mean, 149 fantasy points last year and only 29 this year. And I mean, you're in and out of the lineup. I mean, now he's on IR.
Yeah.
With his hamstring. Get better, Pat. But oh my goodness, man. I mean, only 53 receiving yards, only 8 receptions out of 13 targets. Is just not. I think I almost broke my thumb dropping him from my team. So it's bad, man. Yeah, he definitely let me down.
I'm gonna stay on that same team. If you watched our bold prediction show, I had Najee Harris as the number one overall running back because the way he finished last year and the way he looked his rookie year. I was like, they are going to run the ball down people's throats with Najee Harris, and he is going to be a guy you can get because he wasn't drafted at the top because people were disappointed from last year, not realizing last year he played half the year hurt. But when he got healthy at the end of the year, he was killing it. He's not hurt this year. He just sucks. and it's not all him that sucks. Matt Canada sucks.
It's not all him.
I've been leading the charge this year to have Matt Canada fired. I'm stepping off of that because I need to start my own charge of getting Josh McDaniels fired. But the point still is that Najee Harris has been very disappointed this year. Only 300 yards rushing for the year. That's 6 games that they played. 300, that's 50 yards a game. 52 yards receiving. He's only had 77 carries for a year. That's like 11. No, dude, I'm bad at math. 2, 3, yeah, that's like 12 carries a game. 12 and a half, something like that. This is a guy who should, and I said before, he should have no less than 20 carries a game, because that's the kind of runner he's the Derrick Henry type bruiser running back that he needs the ball at least 15 times just to get going because he doesn't have the speed like this huge acceleration. He's not that lightning kind of guy. He's the guy who hits you hard, and then you get tired of getting hit. He's a battering ram, and if you play him enough, he will wear teams down, and he will get those yards. But with the way they're using him this year, it's just not working. And some would say maybe it's because they're using Jalen Warren too much. Jalen Warren's not getting carries either. He's getting half the carries that Najee's getting, and Najee's not getting enough. Jalen Warren's getting receptions, but the whole Pittsburgh offense has been abysmal. They're one of the worst third teams as far as third down efficiency. They're not running a lot of plays because they're just not good at offense. That defense is pulling the team along. I still think they're a playoff team because, hey, Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons.
He don't miss the playoffs.
so they might be the last seed and kicked out immediately, but they make it. And I think that team overall is much better than it looks on paper. But Matt Canada is ruining Najee Harris, and so that's why he's my most disappointing guy.
Last week they gave Najee 17 carries, which is a start. Which I think coming off the bad week, I think they're trying to make because I think the split was 17-7 between him and Warren. So I think they're trying to get him more involved, which I hope they are, because Matt Canada is the sole reason why, and I get you trying to get Josh McDaniels fired. I understand it wholeheartedly. He should have never came.
He should have been hired.
Yeah, he should have been hired. But Matt Canada is the reason why this offense is in the way it is. Because Deontay Johnson's, when you have Deontay Johnson, Pickens, and those running backs, the offense should be way better than it is. And it's like they're running an old school type of offense. And Kenny Pickett is not the greatest quarterback, but he can make him look a little bit better by running the football. And that opens up I've said this all year. The running game will open up the passing game for Pittsburgh. Yeah. That would make those receivers way more dangerous if you got him involved. You got, like you said, 20 to 25 carries is what he needs to get right. And that's going to get you Deontay Johnson, and that's going to get you Pickens. Those guys, even Frymuth, would have got open if they would have just stayed and ran the ball like that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to reverse it and say, all right, Kenny Pickett, we want you to throw the ball 35 times and try to win us the game and try to run it instead of doing it the opposite way, which they always won that way, which is by actually running the football.
Here's the crazy part. It's not even to the effect of Kenny Pickett's throw that they're not doing anything. They just don't have an offense. Because if you look at the passes per game, here's the thing. When I was looking at this, that blew my mind. Desmond Ridder, on average, throws more passes than Kenny Pickett.
That's true.
How is that even possible? Arthur Smith tells you he doesn't want to throw the ball. He wants to run the ball all the time. He's thrown more passes than Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to get on this. No.
They have no.
You're not going to get me talking about the Pittsburgh. Look, that is for Angelo and for Carla to come in and tell y'all how bad the Pittsburgh offense is. Y'all trying to bring me back on the Matt Canada train. No, I won't do it. I'm not doing y'all work for you.
No, because all I'm saying is Arthur Smith came out and said, yes, I want to run the football because that's what I want to do. But they have no choice but to throw the football because it's a throwing league. You have to be in this league to throw the football. What was the last team? Can you name the last team that won a Super Bowl that ran the ball 45 times a game?
Nope.
You can't name them. It's been so long. When they relied on defense and running to win a Super Bowl. It hasn't been that way in a long time.
The last really rushing team that rushed the ball to success.
It's the Baltimore Ravens.
I was going to say the Ravens.
And that was 2000.
And they still had targets. You still had Shannon Sharp there, even though he was on the down end, but you still had people there. And that defense was unworldly. So
so that's what I'm saying. So, you say the Falcons and he throw more passes because they can't run the football 85 times. They have to allow him to – you got to be honest. You got to stay on. You got to keep the defense honest at some point and say, all right, look, at least they may throw now. And Desmond Ridder, while you saying it, Desmond Ridder has played much better since they've been throwing the football. which is the crazy part. I thought Desmond Ridder would have been bitched by now because he was just that bad last year. He's gotten better over time because he's actually getting a chance to throw the ball. But I mean, Matt Canada is the problem. I'm sorry, Kenny Pickett is not a bad quarterback. I ain't saying he's a great quarterback, but he ain't a bad quarterback. You got to put him in a system to where Ben Roethlisberger wasn't the greatest quarterback, but you know what they did? They ran the football a whole lot, and then they got the receivers open, and then that's when they started winning Super Bowls and winning games. Mm-hmm. It worked that way. It don't work this way, and he should have been fired. But the thing is, they lawyers so bad in Philly, boy. It's crazy. I mean, in Pittsburgh, the loyalty on those coaching staff is
my God,
it's crazy. So they never gonna fire him anyway. So it don't even matter.
Right, from Bill Cowher to Mike, man. I mean, you talking about some of the longest tenure for coaches. They just, no matter what the season look like, they just do not get rid of coaches.
They only had 3 coaches. They had 3 coaches that I know of. 3.
Yep, they've had 3. Now, speaking of disappointing, I would add one more name, and going on still getting people fired. Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher in the league just a year ago, and because of bad coaching, there you go. I'll leave it at that.
I was upset that someone stole him from me in the draft because I was trying to get him, and I was like, man, and it's just like you said, but it goes to the coaching. Because I was gonna ask you that question, but Rodney had already said the answer. But I was gonna say, you said Najee Harris was a disappointment, but I was like, was it more so his performance was bad, or was it just Matt Canada's offense just not that good to be able to give Najee Harris that chance? And I mean, the OC just ain't doing the job.
So my warning for everyone next year: consider coaches when you pick your fantasy heroes next year.
Honestly, you can't go into the draft thinking about. You got to think about, obviously. You got to say, you know what, the team around it is good. But you can't think about the coach. And Matt Canada, hopefully he's not there next year. But
they brought him back after bye weeks, which I don't understand. I said I'm not doing it. No, stop bringing me down this line. No.
Say I'm not doing it.
Oh my God!
You know you're going to, so just go on and do it.
You know you got it, because you're gonna say something.
I won't say. I will not.
No, because you know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna hear it later, so
we're gonna put together a jar. It's gonna be a fine jar. If I say anything about Matt, what's his name, then I have to put $1 in the jar, and we're gonna give that money to charity or something.
Well, you might as well do it now, because I'm gonna make you put the $1 in the jar.
When he play bad again in the offense, and when he don't get 25 carries, he gonna say it was Matt Canada the reason why he didn't get 25 carries.
Josh McDaniels will give me enough to talk about, and that's who I'm going to talk about getting fired the rest of this season.
Oh my goodness!
So let it be written. So let it be done. Let's get out of here.
We gotta go.
That's all the awards. But Halloween's around the corner. Y'all, you taking the kids trick or treating? You're gonna be doing dress up yourself? What's going on for your Halloween plans?
Trunk or treat, baby. Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Trunk.
Absolutely, man. My dad's in a car club, and they do trunk or treat every year. So I take the kids, but man, these new kids are different, man. A lot of these kids don't want to be outside no more. And I mean, I remember days, man, we used to take pillowcases and we used to be out 4 or 5 hours trick-or-treating. And I mean, after the first hour or so, they ready to go back inside. They tired of all that walkings. And, it's just, oh, my goodness. So we still going to do it, though. Take them on out and see if we can get them some candy. Because, look, I want some of that candy, too. So, take them out and see what happens.
Oh, God.
Definitely, man. Let me know about the trunk or treat thing, man. Definitely gonna bring the kids by there.
Yeah, I call you. We having it at the church, so we have it for a couple hours there. I take my daughter out there. She go out there. She gets some trash. I will be there, Mama. I'll be there. I'm coming. She already on me. You know, Kamaya gonna be there. So just doing that, man. Bringing the kids there. I brought her out her costume day before yesterday, so it should be coming in the mail like between today and tomorrow. So, man, just doing that, man. But I just want to say, Kurt, appreciate you coming on, man.
It's been a blast having you.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. I appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger. If you
You
want to
did
come
well
back.
enough that the next time you come, you could even have that blanket behind you.
Hey, look. Hey, this is for my one person in the chat that's a Cowboy fan. Hey, listen, I hold it near and dear to me. Trust me, it will be here next week. If they'll have me, I will come back next week, and you'll see it. You'll see it right on display, right behind me.
Yeah. Before we head out, I see a question that came in at the end about picking a defense: Falcons, Jaguars, Ravens, Texans, and Vikings on the list. Anyone? I know earlier we talked about going with the Falcons just playing the Giants, if I remember correctly. Or is it? Hold on, wait. No, it's the Jets that are playing. Yeah, the Jets are playing the Giants.
Falcons are playing
Tennessee, right?
Tennessee. Yep,
Falcons are playing Tennessee. Yeah, I like that one.
I like the Texans defense too.
The Texans are a good one for that one as well.
I like the Texans too. So
yeah.
But I appreciate you, man. Seriously, man. You always welcome to come back.
Yes, please come back.
Oh, yes. I will.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna work on my technical difficulties to one how all those glitches.
Oh no, it's okay, man.
Hey, you
don't
know Tony Technology.
Oh,
actually, you are in the league with him, so you didn't have nearly the kind of technical issues that other of I guess have.
Yes,
so.
They're telling you correctly. Yeah. You did well. We have glitches all the time.
Yeah, glitches happen. Yeah. Yo, we about to head out. But did y'all watch I don't know if y'all watched Manningcast for your Monday night. I do quite often because they're hilarious. But they had Aaron Rodgers on, and that audio was terrible. So I was like, hey, eye glitches have never been quite that bad, and they've got a budget. we on the no budget. So hey, technology glitches not even an issue. But everybody, thanks for being a part of the show. We appreciate you. For some reason, Will wants to say Rams go all day. I don't. Hey, I would say this. I'm very happy with the Rams the way they've looked this year. So hey, good.
Absolutely. Like I said, with Puka looking good and Cooper Cup coming back, they definitely will be a team to keep your eye on.
I thought they were going to be a bottom seller in that division. They could potentially win it this year. Outside chance, dark horse, but they're looking nice.
Listen, Arizona will be always the bottom dweller of that division.
Ain't that the truth?
And San Fran and the Rams will always be fighting for that division title. And you always got Seattle as kind of like that little brother trying to let me get in on the action. Let me get in on that. So
right on that.
Absolutely. But Rams is looking good. I just need them to take a week off this week. Just take a week off,
I hear you there. All right, yo. Thanks, everybody. Hey, join us. We'll be back here again doing it next week. Hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit us up on our social media with all your questions and anything else. And until then, good luck with you all for the second half of the season. Peace out.
Peace.
All right.